You're all individuals.
Yes, we're all individuals.
You're all different.
Yes, we are all different.
I'm not.
Hey guys, it's GabaVR. I'm a 360 content creator and photographer publishing travel videos and tutorials about 360 photo and video techniques. I think 360 cameras have a great potential in traditional filmmaking too, and in one of my previous tutorials I showed you my teleportation trick, taking motion control shots with a 360 camera. And now I'll show you another film trick we can achieve by setting up camera movements during post-production. Cloning effect is very popular and exciting in movie making, and just like teleportation effect, it's quite simple as long as you are shooting with a still camera. But when it comes to a moving shot, we face the problem that we need a motion control pen and tilt head and a motorized slider to record everything with the same camera movements over and over again. And of course, when it comes to a dialogue or any interaction between the clones, we have to take care of timing too. We have to say sentences or do certain movements in the right moment to cut these things together. So what if I say that we can solve this problem on a low budget using a single 360 camera? Actually, it's a still camera during shooting and I create all the movements afterwards, so I don't have to bother with timing and repeating camera moves during shooting. Of course, there are some basic rules we have to follow, but then it's still a really easy and basic trick, so let's jump into it. I put my 1X on a tripod and first I take an empty shot with the main character speaking by the wall, and then I play around with the clones. If you want to make it easy, be sure to avoid overlapping characters, but if you have enough time and patience you can go further with scenes like this.
You're all individuals!
Now I record a short scene inspired by the movie Life of Brian with a funny twist that actually there are clones featuring in the video. We are inside a hairdresser shop and I want to create a moving shot panning around in the room full of clones. First I just record the scene in each character's perspective, moving between the locations. It's a kind of dialogue between the main character and the crowd, so I need to wait a little bit between the sentences.
Yes, we're all individuals. Yes, we are all different. Yes, we're all individuals.
I repeat the same sentences a couple of times and after finishing recording, I import everything into Premiere Pro. Now I only have one single shot with all the takes, but of course when you have a cameraman, he can start and stop recording between the shots. In this case I have a 7-minute long footage with several takes and I pick up the best ones and put them in their place on the timeline. Of course I will start with the first sentence of the main character, and in the further cases I will always start with silence. You know, just like the people in the crowd were listening to him. And this way I synchronize all the shots together. So here is my opening sentence, and here comes the first reaction. And here is another one. I can clearly see everything looking at the waveform, so I can make a raw cut quite quickly. And then I start masking. As I recorded and organized all the different variations, I start with some fast and easy masks, and in the end I will refine and animate them in a couple of cases. My basic footage is the speech of the main character. I synchronized everything else to it, and now I create the first mask. There's nothing changing around my talent, so I draw a raw mask. And then I continue with all the others. Here you can see a small problem, because these clones are a little bit close to each other. So I have to animate the mask a little bit when one of them moves his arm. But that's all. Maybe I play around with the mask at this point too. And I check out the whole scene. As you can see, until now it's an easy stop motion trick, but just like with the motion control teleportation effect, now here comes the magic. I will add some camera movements to make it look really cool. Selecting all the tracks, I create a nested sequence. So now this whole scene will act like a normal video on the timeline. On the effects panel, I type in VR, I select GoPro Reframe plugin, and I apply it on the nested sequence. Now I can easily look around in the 360 space, and using keyframes I can animate these virtual camera movements. I will slowly pan around counterclockwise, starting from the main character, looking around in the hairdresser shop. I don't want to pan too fast because I want to keep my main character in frame as long as he is speaking. But it depends on. In this case, this is my final result.
You're all individuals.
Yes, we're all individuals.
You're all different.
Yes, we are all different.
I'm not.
It also depends on the scene, but this time audio is very important, so I keep all the audio tracks active. It doesn't matter that sometimes I was talking faster or slower, it will be a nice choir effect. And I hope you will try and like this technique, because I think this is the cheapest and easiest way to clone ourselves in a moving scene. So if you like this video, please thumbs up, and for further 360 contents and tutorials, subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time!